All right, this is a review of The Eighth Habit of Stephen Covey by Stephen Covey, animated book summary. This guy does a pretty good job with this. I'm going to make some comments as we go along here.
As I've alluded to in my review of the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, Stephen Covey has written an upgrade book about the additional habit number 8. Find your voice and inspire others to find theirs.
Now, I'm going to make a comment here. Finding your own voice, it should be done as early as possible. That's my best advice. If I had to go back and live my life over, I would have went after my greatest desires and passions for helping and serving others through my own voice. He'll talk more about this, but it's more important than I could say. Unfortunately, as he alludes to here, corporations, banks, education, other systems, they really don't want you to find your own voice. And that has been beaten out of most of us.
Again, this is something highly successful people do consistently. Let's dive into what Covey calls the 4 intelligences by taking a subjective look at what is commonly referred to as the rat race. We're the average employee and we sit in an office chair all day. So let me cross that one out. Perfect. We're writing emails, scanning and printing paper, writing down notes, working in a Microsoft Excel sheet, and all in all, everything is said and done. We're supposed to do our step-by-step process until the shift is over. If problems come up, we're expected to solve them, but that rarely pays off. We know what happened last time when I tried to fix things while Susie consciously made an effort to have lunch for 2.5 hours. Intellectual. When's the last time my hard work was acknowledged? Wait, let me think for a moment. Well, I guess gratitude just isn't my boss's thing. That's what...
No, this being rewarded and the emotional and intellectual waste and the destruction by corporations is pathetic. There are a few that are doing some great things, but by and large, a lot needs to be changed. And we're wasting human potential right and left in education, in churches, in corporations, in employment, in government. You see it everywhere, but there are changes coming, and some people are really fighting like hell to get things done in a much better way.
The money's for, as Don Draper would say. Oh, but I almost forgot. I get paid half the minimum wage because I'm an intern and therefore not as valuable as Christy, who's sick every Monday and reminds me every 5 minutes that she's got 20 years of experience doing this job, while I'm fixing the things she fucked up. Emotional. And if I had...
Well, it wasn't too good a language, but you get the point. People don't like being screwed over by other employees or the corporation or the system.
I have to do this until I'm 65. As it stands now, probably even longer. Please just shoot me now. This is only going to get worse. Spiritual. Okay, Nanette, I get it. You're frustrated. We all are. But what does that mean? Why did you cross those words out? These 4 intelligences are heavily suppressed under the economic system we live in. Hence, it shouldn't come as a surprise that we are facing a serious increase in cases of severe depression and suicide rates when we deny our true nature. Being civilized used to mean something good. Now it's just an ad hominem to throw in for someone who's losing an argument. Like, how about you be more civilized? As we all know, as humans we're very susceptible to the influence of others, especially when they're trying to drag us down. You might be having a great day, and someone negative ruins it by letting their frustration out on you. It spreads like a disease, and so Covey lists 5 cancerous behaviors that inhibit us from greatness. Criticism, complaining, comparing, competing, and contending. And guess what? The office is chock full of it.
These are so destructive. Really the opposite. Cooperation, bringing out their own voice, and instead of criticizing, complimenting and encouraging and edifying, instead of complaining, putting in positive stuff and reinforcement and making a difference. Comparing instead of comparing, we need to work together as a team, competing the same as a team, and help each other. The true solution for these 5 cancers is really through service and love and through principles. All the rest is just garbage and crap.
A traditional job as your main income source is fairly common, but in today's world we cannot merely rely on our company's loyalty towards us to keep our employment. Even more because those cancerous behaviors are slowly but surely making us miserable. We need to establish income sources and build or acquire assets that will soften, if not prevent, our fall from grace. You, I, and everybody else on this planet are able to discover our voice because of three gifts we are all born with. You are born with the freedom to choose.
Now pay attention to these three or four gifts. They're powerful, and we need to teach and use them better. There needs to be wisdom and inspiration with this, as well as drive and desire and accomplishment.
I remember learning about the Middle Ages in elementary school and how lucky I felt that we lived in an age where you can decide for yourself what profession you want to pursue. I read about stories of farmers who were born in poverty, without so-called royalty in their blood. They weren't allowed to become knights, pursue a life of luxury, and had very hard and short lives without many of the great things we all enjoy today. You may not be a privileged child of incredibly rich parents, but you sure can accumulate wealth on your own and live the life you desire if you truly want to. Plus, since necessity rules the world, those rich kids have no need to work hard. In a strange way, you've got the upper hand for not having everything handed to you. It's a blessing. And you were also born with natural principles like fairness, kindness, respect, honesty, integrity, service, and contribution. These laws of nature are what makes us human.
More than that, these natural principles, if they're coupled with true inspiration, with love and inspiration and faith and divine righteousness, they can be magnified.
Influence our decision-making for the better. And you were also born with the four intelligences as mentioned earlier: mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Each of them is unique, and yet they're heavily linked to each other and work best in synergy. You, like all the great achievers in history, can express your voice through developing your mental energy into a vision, through developing your physical energy into discipline, through developing your emotional energy into passion, and through developing your spiritual energy into conscience, which is your sense of right and wrong and your...
So let's go back and look at that. It's so important that we understand what is going on here. I have to edit this a little bit.
Energy into conscience, which is...
Now let's look at this. Mental energy into a vision, very exacting vision, but a vision that needs to be backed up with money, teamwork, and discipline and unity. The physical energy, the discipline, and the emotional energy, the passion, and the spiritual energy, the conscience, to do good with that money-making vision and put it to use outside the corporation. Some companies are doing this, but it needs to be done more.
Is your sense of right and wrong and your drive towards discovering the secrets life has to offer and sharing them with everyone else. This is what many modern-day masters, such as Gary Vaynerchuk, Tim Ferriss, and Seth Godin, refer to as storytelling. It is one of the most important skills we can acquire, regardless what human interaction you are indulging in, like dating, selling, or going to a job interview. It's finding your voice, learning to channel it in the most expressive way possible.
Storytelling. That's part of what I do every day in the writing and blogging work. But it's more than just storytelling and passing principles or other ideas down. The synergy there and the unity and the challenge to work together needs to come. Otherwise, it's not in its full power.
And then getting others to find their own voice, which in and of itself is a very noble and selfless cause.
We're going to end it there. That's the end of that. We'll edit this and go on. Look at this, review this, and get the book, The Eighth Habit, to bring out your own individual voice.